Hello lovely people, welcome to today's video. We are going to be doing a full face of sample sized makeup, and sample sized makeup is something very close to my heart because I love saving money and I love the idea of having little sizes of things that you can actually use up and not wasting money by throwing old makeup away. So this is something that I actually do a lot. I would usually use sample size makeup in my everyday routine because I just personally like to purchase smaller sizes of makeup just so that it doesn't go to waste, and that is something that I care about, so hopefully you do also. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe before you leave, and without further ado, we're just going to get right on into the video. Alright y'all, so first I'm going to start off with the Hydrating Primer from Tarte. This is the Base Tape Hydrating Primer. I find that usually when my skin is a little more dry, using a hydrating primer in addition to my moisturizer is really helpful, and this is a nice little tiny sample size. I think something like this is good to bring on any kind of like travel trip you have if you're flying, and it's really good if you don't want to bring like a moisturizer and a primer. Maybe a good alternative would be just to do a hydrating primer, although I will say it does a little bit of a different thing. Like this one's a little more sticky, so it probably will keep your makeup on even longer than maybe a normal moisturizer, so that's just something to keep in mind. But especially with little sample sizes, usually a lot of people take them on travel, so this might be a good alternative for you to do that if you want to take a hydrating primer. Next, I'm going to use this Coola Dawn Patrol Classic Primer. This is more so to like fill in any pores that I have, or to just kind of like smooth out the skin. I like using pore filling primers, and this one has that like classic dimethicone feel to it, so it's going to really fill in the pores. And I just like shove my finger in my nose. Ooh. Anyways, it's going to really fill in the pores and smooth out your skin. Any texture you have, it'll make the makeup go on a lot easier. So this is a nice classic primer to have. It also smells really good. It smells like the beach, which is awesome. I love this. The Coola brand has a really good tinted matte sunscreen, I believe it is. Yeah, tinted matte sunscreen, and it's really, really nice. So if you're looking for a sunscreen to put on, then that would be a good one. But today I'm not going to use sunscreen, and it's okay because I think my foundation has sunscreen in it. That was another tip. I know a lot of people use sunscreen before they put makeup on, but me, I just use what's in my foundation, which may be bad, but it's okay. So I'm going to be taking this Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Foundation. I have used this before. I think this is one of the foundations that I had like a full bottle of that was high-end. I think I bought it for myself. I can't remember if someone else bought it for me or if I bought it for myself, but I haven't opened it yet. But I really love this foundation because of the coverage. I will say, if you have skin that tends to have a lot of like textures like / dry spots to it, it will stick because it's a thicker foundation, so just be aware of that. But in regards to coverage, it's really, really nice. And you only need like the tiniest amount. I put like a tiny little dot on my hand just because sometimes this foundation, if you layer it up too much, it can get really cakey really fast. So I'm going to apply this with my e.l.f. buffing brush. This is my favorite foundation brush. I love it so much. So I'm just going to do that. I love about sample sizes or travel sizes or like little tiny things of makeup is I find that you're really able to get the most use out of your product without it going bad. So for example, like bronzers and blushes, if you have them in a travel size, you're not going to go through them like super fast because you only use a little amount each day, at least I do. And so I find that it's actually more proactive to just buy a smaller size. Also, lipstick too is another great example of that because you use so little of it, and I feel like it goes bad so quickly unless you're using the same shade every day. But if you're like me, I like to switch it up. So I feel like it's kind of wasteful just to have like a ton of full-size lipsticks, especially ones that are expensive. I understand maybe like having drugstore lipsticks because they're not as expensive. But honestly, like, you're supposed to be rotating your makeup every couple of months, especially mascara is a big one. So I would say that using little tiny sample sizes saves you money because you're actually using all of the product. It's not so much product that you feel like you're being wasteful, or even if you don't feel like it and you are. I think that sample sizes are a great alternative to buying full-size products. And especially for people who don't wear makeup that often, I think it probably would be more suitable for you because then you would actually use all of it and it wouldn't go bad so quickly. And it would be like drugstore price. Like for example, if you want something from Sephora and it's super expensive but the sample size is like a price of a drugstore, you know, foundation or concealer, I think it's worth actually just buying the sample size, especially if you're not going to use it every day. So that's a little tip and suggestion. I will say I think some things that are worth buying full sizes, no matter what, are mascaras and probably foundations and concealers, unless you're wanting to just try it. But I feel like the things that you don't use a ton of, it's just kind of wasteful to buy full sizes of. So for me, I have a ton of sample size, not only because I have the Ipsy packages come to me every month, but also because I actually purchase more sample size things at Sephora because I am living on a budget and I can still try all like the fancy makeup and stuff and the new launches and everything, but I'm not spending like hundreds of dollars on tons and tons of product that I might not even get to finish or use up. So if you're looking to save money, that's a great alternative, and you still want good makeup, there's lots of brands that make sample sizes of their most famous products, so that is a great way to save money. Alright, so next I'm going to be using this IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye little concealer here. I've had this for a super long time. I used it in my sister's favorites video, and I think I've also used it in another video. It's lasted me so long because of its thickness and because of its coverage. Like you only need like a little tiny little pea size amount. It's awesome. So I'm just going to put this right under my eyes and just blend that in. Sometimes with concealer, I'll kind of like press it in after I use my brush. I usually like to use my finger because I find that it sinks in better, but I'll use my brush and then kind of drag it down, like any excess coverage that I don't need under my eyes, I'll drag it down onto my face. It's just like a little thing that I do to make sure everything is blended seamlessly and evenly together. Alright, so my face is looking extremely glowy at the moment, so I need some powder, especially right now outside. It's like super hot. It's been really hot. It's getting a little cooler than it was in California, but not as much as it should be. So well, you can see like the smoke was rising. That's funny. This is the Makeup Forever loose translucent powder, and it's a little sample size. You get like a little net in there. It's awesome. I love this powder. I think it's really great for all skin tones, obviously, because it's translucent. So that's another thing, especially if you're like a makeup artist or something, instead of buying tons and tons of shades of powder, you can just use a translucent setting powder that's really finely milled like this one, and it'll look pretty good on everybody. Everybody will benefit from this. So I'm just going to keep pressing that in. I am a person who doesn't like too much shine on my face. I feel like it just makes me look sweaty and greasy and gross. So I like to use a good amount of powder. So I'm just going to continue powdering a lot. Alright, next up I'm going to do my eyebrows. I don't have any travel sized eyebrow things, but this e.l.f. little wow brow thing is pretty tiny, and technically so is this LA Girl one. It's super cheap, so I mean, usually travel size things are cheaper and little sample sizes of things are cheaper anyway, so it kind of counts, but it's not really, so I'm just going to do this off camera and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back, the brows are done, and I look a little more alive. I'm going to be doing my eyeshadow next. I like to do my bronzer and blush and highlight all of that last. So we're going to move right along. This is a Buxom eyeshadow. It is in the shade Bold Bling, and I really love it. And actually, first I think I'm going to do, let's see. I have this little Z palette here I got from Amazon. It's like nice and pretty and shiny. I think I have like more of a transition shade in here, so I'm going to be using that. And usually people will use this as their bronzer, but for me, for today, I'm going to be using it as my eyeshadow. So that's another thing about little sample products. You can use them. Versatility is awesome. I probably will even use this a little bit as my bronzer today, just to kind of tie it all in together. So as you can see, I'm just kind of using a big fluffy brush and just working the color all around. I will say some people will go right in with a super glittery eyeshadow, but I wouldn't recommend that because you have veins and color on your eyes, and so usually that can offset like the kind of look you're going for. So instead I would recommend using a transition shade first. I don't have a little sample of like a tone that would match my skin, so I'm just using this bronzer kind of like taupey shade, but usually I would actually go in first with like a more cream shade or like a white shade, because I have a good amount of like veins on my eyelids, and usually I like to block those out for eye looks. But for today's purpose, we're just going to use this transition all over. Alright, so that's done. I'm now going to use the Buxom that I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to use my finger. I find with these shadows, it's better to use your finger sometimes. When I use just a brush to apply it all over, it doesn't even really work. So it depends on the eyeshadow. I will say I'm just going to press this in the middle and work it to the edges. I'm just going to do a little bit today just because it's not like, not going anywhere crazy. But I want it to look nice. Some people are afraid to wear shimmery eyeshadows, or they're like, oh, that might be a little too much out in the daytime. I would say if that is you and you still want to kind of experiment with shimmery shades, maybe just get a shade that's more close to your skin tone, like a champagne color, or even like a really light brown shimmery shade, because those often look more natural rather than going for like a super colory shimmery like neon green or something crazy. Just use more like neutral toned shades, and I think that'll suit you a lot better. Okay, moving on to eyeliner. I'm just going to do something super simple today. This is the Smashbox Always On Gel Liner, and I'm just going to take this and put it on the bottom waterline. Do that off camera because otherwise I'm going to poke myself in the eyeball, so I'll be right back. So now I look like I have no eyelashes and my eyes are super closed in, but mascara is going to fix that and open it up. So first I'm going to curl my eyelashes with the Shiseido eyelash curler. This thing is awesome. I love it so much. Get yourself one of these. Save up for it. It seems a little expensive for an eyelash curler, but it is absolutely amazing. And there you go. Beautiful lashes. Just like that. And now I'm going to use the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara in the little sample size form. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this. It is great. I like to start at the bottom of my lashes and work it up a little bit. I usually go in really, really, really light layers just because I don't like the clumpy, but I still want it to look volumized. So I will go in layers, start at the bottom, work my way up, and then I will do a couple of coats afterwards. Alright, so mascara is done. Now I'm going to be moving on to the face, the rest of the face, because I look like a white marshmallow. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start with bronzer. I'm just going to take that Bahama bronzer, even though my brush is huge and this is like super tiny. I'm going to work this in here and just stuck in my cheekbones and work it all over. It's important to go under your jawline, not only to get some more dimension down there, but also it makes your skin look a lot more cohesive, especially when you're as white as me. I need all the bronzing I can get. Sweet. Now it's time for blush. I'm going to be using the Balm, what is it called? Hot Mama blush. I get a lot of these little sample sizes in my Ipsy packages, like I mentioned before. So that's why I'm using a lot of the Balm Cosmetics, because that is a lot of what I get sent. Holy cow. Did you see that? That is like gold-ish. Okay. I don't know if I've used this before. Interesting. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's like has like a gold reflection to it. That's kind of pretty. I like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Helps with the glow, man. Helps with the glow. Alright, I think I'm going to skip the highlighter for today just because this blush is like super, super, super glowy. Like, look at that. It's just like, bam! Got a blush and a highlight in one. There you go. So if you're looking for a blush and a highlight that you want to travel with, maybe just take that one, because it'll do what you need it to do in just one product. So that's great. Alright, the last step, well, almost last step, one of my favorites is the lipstick. So I'm going to be using this Pat McGrath OMI lipstick. It's the little sample form, and I really love this lipstick formula. It lasts so long, let me tell you. I mean, I put this on in the morning, and at night after I had like coffee and like 3 meals, it was still on my mouth and it still looked good. So if you're looking for a good lipstick, this is a great one. Again, like I said before, it's good to invest in sample size lipsticks, because you will probably not even go through them, just like you probably don't even go through your regular ones, in a timely manner at least. So I'm going to apply this on my lips, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright guys, so I just applied lipstick. I think it looks really, really pretty. I'm going to put this Macy Mia Lip Gloss over it just because I feel like the lips are really bold, and I'm going to be going out in a more natural daytime. So this lip gloss is going to just kind of dumb down the pigment of the lipstick. So I'm going to do that real quick. So let's see. Alright, so we got a little more shine, a little more of this color to kind of tone down the intensity of the lipstick, but still really pretty. So keep that in mind if you are wanting to try out those Pat McGrath lipsticks. They are very, very, very pigmented. So if you are someone who likes less pigment in lipsticks, maybe just go a couple shades up in lipstick that you would normally choose, because then you can actually apply the full thing and you don't have to be so careful, rather than getting a lipstick that's usually like what you would go for. That's a little tip I have for you. But overall, I really like the makeup. I think I'm going to blend out this cheek some more. It is very, very intense. I'm going to take, actually, I think my foundation brush and just kind of blend, because I don't want to look like a clown. No, thank you. Alright guys, so that is the end of today's video. Please leave a comment down below what you guys would like to see next, and if you guys enjoyed this sample makeup tutorial, I would love to have you guys part of this little YouTube community I have on my channel. Lots more things to come. Be sure to check out my Instagram at NatalieErinBeauty. I post a lot there, specifically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday if you are looking for more content from me, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye bye.